I'm Jessie Spano, and I'm so excited to bring you the stripped-out news brief for today's top stories. No sides, all facts. Let's dive in, shall we? Welcome to the Stripped Out News Daily Podcast. Before we dive in, I wanted to let you know the Stripped Out News storefront is open and ready for business. If you want to support the project and get some premium gear, head over to strippedoutnews.com/merch. The vault is open. It's Friday, June 19th, 2026. From Iran tensions, Trump honors veterans, gun rights upheld, and FBI probes fraud. Let's go. The U.S. military carried out a strike on a boat in the eastern Pacific Ocean last Thursday, killing 3 people alleged to be involved in drug smuggling. This brings the total number of fatalities from such operations to at least 211 since the Trump administration began targeting so-called narco-terrorists last September. The latest incident was confirmed by U.S. Southern Command, which described the targets as individuals engaged in illicit activities. The vessel was intercepted in international waters, though no drugs were reportedly seized during the operation. Progressive voices are raising concerns about the rising death toll and the lack of transparency in how targets are selected. On the other hand, conservative supporters argue these strikes are critical to disrupting drug cartels and keeping narcotics off U.S. streets. The strike has sparked renewed debate over the legality and ethics of using military force against suspected traffickers. Critics question the absence of judicial oversight, while backers say the measures are necessary for national security. Congress is expected to hold hearings to examine the campaign's effectiveness and legal basis. Human rights groups are also calling for more accountability to prevent civilian casualties. The administration, however, shows no signs of slowing down these operations, emphasizing their role in the broader fight against drug trafficking. Ukrainian forces recently launched a significant drone attack targeting a major oil refinery in Moscow. This marks the second time this specific refinery has been hit within a week, indicating a concentrated effort. The assault involved a substantial number of uncrewed aerial vehicles, with Russian officials reporting nearly 200 were deployed. As a direct consequence of the attack, commercial flights operating out of Moscow's airports experienced disruptions. This incident is being characterized by Russian officials as one of the largest drone attacks since the full-scale conflict began over 4 years ago. The strikes have brought the conflict's direct impact to the Russian capital, raising concerns about infrastructure and daily life. Such actions on energy facilities and transportation hubs can have various implications, including potential impacts on fuel supply and air travel. These events represent a notable development in the ongoing hostilities. President Donald Trump awarded the Medal of Honor to 3 veterans at the White House this week. The recipients, Marine Corps Major James Capers Jr., Marine Corps Colonel John Ripley, and Army Major Nicholas Dockery, were recognized for their bravery in the Vietnam and Afghanistan wars. The Medal of Honor is the highest military decoration, often awarded posthumously, making this ceremony particularly significant. During the event, President Trump called the veterans great men and briefly touched on the economy. Footage from the ceremony showed a moment where the president struggled to fasten one of the medals, which drew some attention. The event highlighted the sacrifices of service members and the enduring importance of recognizing their valor. Conservative outlets praised the veterans' heroism, while progressive outlets noted the procedural aspects of the ceremony. This ceremony underscores the bipartisan respect for military honors, even as political narratives diverge on other issues. June 19th, observed annually on June 19th, commemorates a pivotal moment in American history, the emancipation of enslaved African Americans. This date specifically marks the arrival of Union General Gordon Granger in Galveston, Texas, in 1865, who announced the end of slavery, over 2 years after the Emancipation Proclamation. For more than a century, Black communities, particularly in Texas, have celebrated this day as a symbol of freedom and resilience. Texas officially recognized June 19th as a state holiday in 1980, a significant step in its formal acknowledgement. The observance gained national prominence when it was designated a federal holiday in 2021, expanding its recognition across the United States. This federal status has brought increased attention to the historical significance of the date and its meaning for the nation. The holiday prompts reflection on the delayed enforcement of emancipation and the broader legacy of slavery in America. It serves as a focal point for discussions on historical truth, freedom, and ongoing efforts toward racial justice. Communities nationwide now organize various events, from educational programs to cultural celebrations, to honor the day. The expanded recognition of Juneteenth continues to foster dialogue about its place in the national narrative. McDonald's is making a significant menu change, bringing back a beloved classic. The company is reintroducing its fried apple pie, a dessert that was a staple for many years. This return is specifically timed to coincide with America's 250th birthday, a major national anniversary. The classic fried version of the pie is distinct from the baked apple pies currently offered on its menu. This move taps into a sense of nostalgia for many consumers who remember the original item. The reintroduction serves as a celebratory gesture, aligning the fast food giant with the national commemoration. It highlights the company's participation in marking this historical milestone. Consumers can anticipate the return of this familiar treat as part of the broader national festivities. This decision could potentially appeal to a wide audience looking for a taste of the past. Recent research indicates that individuals utilizing GLP-1 medications for weight loss are significantly reducing their physical activity. This includes medications like Ozempic, which have become prominent in weight management. A new study analyzed data from 753 people diagnosed with obesity who had recently begun a GLP-1 medication course. The findings show a noticeable decrease in daily steps among these participants. Additionally, their overall engagement in exercise activities declined after starting the medication. This suggests a potential shift in lifestyle habits concurrent with the pharmacological intervention. The study highlights the importance of considering comprehensive approaches to weight loss. Maintaining physical activity levels remains a key component of overall health, even when using effective medications. This information could be crucial for healthcare providers, guiding patients on their weight management journeys. Further investigation into these behavioral changes may inform future treatment strategies. The Ebola outbreak in Central Africa is worsening rapidly, with cases jumping 38% in just the last week. Over 200 people have died so far, making this the deadliest outbreak at this stage. The virus has spread across 32 areas in Congo and Uganda, with health officials tracking up to 35,000 potential contacts. The Africa Centers for Disease Control and Prevention sounded the alarm on Thursday, highlighting the outbreak's severity. Containment efforts are ramping up, but the situation remains dire. Quarantine measures and public health campaigns are in full swing, but the densely populated and highly mobile regions pose significant challenges. International aid is being called in to help manage the crisis. Without swift action, the outbreak could spiral further, straining already fragile health systems. The next few weeks will be critical in determining whether the spread can be contained. The White House is currently engaged in developing new rules and security guidelines for artificial intelligence, working directly with various tech companies. A key part of this effort involves collaboration with Anthropic, focusing on creating a framework to assess potential security flaws in AI models. This initiative comes after the administration previously imposed export controls on Anthropic. These controls led to the suspension of access for users to the company's powerful AI models, Fable 5 and Mythos 5. The reason cited for these controls was a perceived security flaw, often referred to as a jailbreak within the industry. Officials familiar with the discussions indicate that the goal is to establish clear benchmarks for evaluating AI security risks. The ongoing dialogue aims to guide how the government might intervene when such flaws are identified. This process reflects an evolving approach to regulating AI technology as it develops. The framework is designed to determine the severity of security issues in new AI models, potentially influencing future development and deployment. Meta is making a big push in Congress right now, aiming to secure legal immunity from lawsuits tied to online harm against kids. This comes as lawmakers debate the Kids Online Safety Act, a bill designed to hold tech companies more accountable for content that affects minors. The social media giant is lobbying hard to carve out protections that would shield it from certain legal actions. While the specifics of what they're asking for aren't public, it's clear they're trying to limit their liability under the proposed law. The Senate is currently weighing the bill, with both parties showing interest in tackling online safety issues. Critics on the left worry that granting immunity would let platforms off the hook for harms caused by their algorithms. Meanwhile, some on the right are calling for a balanced approach that doesn't crush innovation. This isn't just about Meta. It could set the tone for how other tech companies are regulating moving forward. The Senate's decision will have to strike a tricky balance between protecting kids and keeping the digital landscape functional. The Supreme Court recently declined to hear an appeal concerning a federal law that prohibits marijuana users from owning firearms. This decision effectively upholds a lower court's ruling, which found the federal prohibition to be unconstitutional. The case originated with Ali Daniel Hamani, a Texas resident, who contended that barring gun ownership for marijuana users violated his Second Amendment rights. Hamani was not charged with any other crimes or accused of using a weapon while under the influence. The court's action means the lower court's finding, which determined the federal law lacked sufficient historical justification, remains in effect. Justice Neil Gorsuch, writing for the court, noted that prosecutors failed to provide a historical analog under the court's established history and tradition test to support the prohibition. The opinion specifically critiqued the government's attempt to compare all marijuana users to habitual drunkards. This development is seen as a significant step in the ongoing legal efforts to align gun restrictions with Second Amendment interpretations. It underscores the complexities federal courts face in applying the current test for gun rights cases. The outcome could influence future challenges to similar federal regulations. The Federal Bureau of Investigation has launched an investigation into alleged voter fraud and bribery on Skid Row in Los Angeles. This probe focuses on claims involving homeless residents and their participation in the Los Angeles mayoral election. The investigation was prompted by a video posted to TikTok, which reportedly documented interviews with individuals claiming they received payments for their votes. One person stated they received $2 to vote for a specific candidate. Federal agents have been present in the Skid Row area, conducting interviews with residents as part of their inquiry. The Justice Department has confirmed it is investigating a criminal matter, though it has not provided further specifics. This development brings renewed attention to concerns about election integrity. The investigation is currently active, with potential implications for how election processes are monitored and enforced in the future. The Social Security Fund is projected to run out of money by 2032, which could lead to significant benefit cuts if Congress doesn't act. This has sparked a heated debate over how to address the funding shortfall. Progressive voices argue that raising taxes on high-income individuals could solve the problem, pointing to historical examples where tax adjustments stabilize the program. On the other hand, conservative analysts say taxing the wealthy won't be enough to fix Social Security's financial challenges. They suggest broader reforms, like adjusting benefit formulas and eligibility criteria. The debate highlights the complexity of finding a solution that works for everyone. With the 2032 deadline approaching, lawmakers are under pressure to come up with a bipartisan plan. The outcome will have major implications for retirees, workers, and the economy. The Atlantic hurricane season has officially begun with the formation of Tropical Storm Arthur near the Gulf Coast. This marks the start of a period typically characterized by increased tropical weather activity. Arthur developed as a disorganized cluster of storms, having already delivered several days of rain to parts of eastern Mexico and the Gulf region. Currently, the storm is generating intense rainfall, which forecasters anticipate will lead to dangerous flash flooding across the northern Gulf Coast. States like Texas and Louisiana are particularly at risk from this precipitation. Meteorologists have indicated that conditions were favorable for the storm's brief formation, though it is not expected to strengthen further. Residents in the affected areas are advised to monitor local weather advisories closely. The primary concern remains the potential for life-threatening flash floods. This early season storm highlights the need for continued vigilance as the hurricane season progresses. Ahead of the big World Cup match between Mexico and South Korea, there's been a security scare and some off-field drama. The Mexican military had to intercept a drone that was flying over South Korea's training camp in Guadalajara, just one day before their Group A showdown. Meanwhile, protesters are gearing up to demonstrate against World Cup sponsor Hyundai, angry about the company's business ties to a controversial mining firm called Ternium. Environmental groups have accused Ternium of destructive practices and even alleged connections to missing activists in Mexico. This all comes as both teams prepare for a crucial match that will decide who tops Group A. For fans looking to watch, there are several ways to stream the game for free, through trial offers on platforms like DirecTV and Fubo. The drone incident has raised some security questions, but officials haven't indicated whether it was anything more than a privacy concern. The protests against Hyundai highlight how major sporting events often become flashpoints for broader social and environmental issues. It's shaping up to be more than just a soccer match, with security, politics, and corporate responsibility all part of the story surrounding this World Cup fixture.
I hear the horns, so it's time to bug out. I'm Jessie. I've been great, and those have been today's top stories, brought to you by Stripped Out News. Dive deeper on these and more at strippedoutnews.com. Go on, hit me up. Oh, wait, don't forget. Buy stuff. We're poor.